Hello everyone, and welcome back to a new episode of Like a Fly on a Cartwheel. I hope you have looked at my previous two videos, and if not, I would generally urge you to look at them so that you can get the flow of this third video in order. So let me start by a quick summary for those who may have seen my first two videos. In the first video, I had covered a dream which I had 20 years back, where I was something like a fly on a cartwheel, just moving around on the cartwheel. I didn't know at the time of the dream where I was sitting. I knew I was a fly, but I was experiencing a lot of ups and downs, elation and unhappiness, thinking I was contributing to the movement in some way. But very soon in the dream, I had a bigger flash of whole reality, that is a cart moving along a village road. And it was then that I realized that all my experiences were just made up by my mind, and something much bigger than this was happening, and I was just a small party to this big movement. And then I had moved on to a second video where I started to study this. Was the universe trying to tell me something? And what I concluded that video with was trying to point out whether we were just something like billiard balls on which different forces act, and not out of free will, but due to the sigma of all the forces, the ball moves in a particular direction, as we do. Now, we being humans, the forces are much bigger. They are not necessarily physical, and they will be mental and emotional forces which are moving us. So yes, we could be nothing more than billiard balls plus a computer program. And what I mean by a computer program is conditioned beings having certain thoughts and emotions which are forces inside us, and all these forces are moving us choicelessly in a particular direction. And the last question was, is there anything which can participate in this unceasing flow of deterministic forces which can interfere and change the path we are taking? And we all experience this as something called free will, and we attribute it to something called I can change something, I could have done something differently, or I could choose in the next moment to do something else altogether. My main goal was to challenge this whether this which we feel is giving us the free will exists or does not exist, or is just an illusion that we experience. Now let me come into this video. We need to discuss the and to really get to the bottom of what this is composed of, where it is generated, how it functions, and what its role is in our lives. The if you look at it carefully, and if I was to ask you, who are you? And you would say, you will tell me your name, you'll tell me your place of stay, where you work, what are your habits, what are your hobbies, what do you like, what you don't like, are you a happy person, an unhappy person, what are your characteristics? This is our We all realize all these are data points. Nobody is born with a name, it is given to them. We all respond to our environment in different ways, and that's what gets accumulated back in us as impressions about who we are, how do we deal, how do we compare to others, and this is what forms the I. A child just newly born has no concept of where its body ends and where the others start, or the outside world starts. It takes some time before it can start to feel the extremities of where it can feel its senses. And then it realizes that that which is outside this sense extremities, that must be something else, and this is me. It is all a process of conditioning to realize that I am different from the environment, and this is what I am composed of. This is the name given to me by my parents. This is what my religion is, my sect is, this is what I believe in, this is where I work, this is what I like or don't like, which is also an outcome of interaction with our peers, siblings, and parents. So in short, all this I, as we see as who am I, is a combination of a lot of data points. Not very different from a lot of data or programs that could be placed in a computer. Now, could you call data placed in a computer or programs alive and free to act on their own? Or is there something required to act on this data which can use the data and make changes, get insights, have meaning, have purpose? Because the data in itself is dead. It is just like a cassette tape recorder recording. It doesn't have a life of its own. It cannot change anything. So all our accretions from our childhood are nothing but all this data which is now lying within us, which we can always claim that there is something else which takes ownership of this data and says, this is what I am. But then we are moving into further than I. The I, as we understand today, is a combination of this dead data, which cannot by itself be alive in any way. So my friends, this is where I end this video. But as you realize, this is not the ending of the discussion. This is the beginning. If we can conclude that all this internal data of ours is fundamentally dead recordings in a computer and it cannot have free will of its own, then what is it, if anything, which has free will? And this, my friends, will be the main topic of discussion of my next video. For now, I would be highly grateful if you could just subscribe to this channel, and if you like the video, like it. It helps and it motivates me to keep going. Thank you.